a little bit since we've done a video talking about some of the things that you might have missed or remembered from Black Ops 3, and so I figured, you know what, it was time to do another one here with this one. So I believe it's like episode 3 or something like that of the 5 things you may not remember from Black Ops 3, and in this one I think we got a pretty good list of things that you may or may not remember. And as always, once again, drop down in the comment section down below if you guys know 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 of these, if any of them at all, while you follow along here with a list of things that we talk about. But with all that said, let's jump right into our 5 things you might not remember from Black Ops 3, from the early alpha to the beta to launch to now a year and a half later. So let's talk a little bit about this. Firstly, let's talk perks, because the perk system is something, there's not a major amount of perks within Black Ops 3, but they work in tandem very well. That's something that they really do mesh well together, and overall the perk system is rather balanced. But there was a little bit of a difference back in the early alpha versions of Black Ops 3. I'm not entirely sure if it made its way into the beta. I don't think so. I think that it was caught and then changed around to be the current version as of earlier than the beta, and it launched with the beta then. But Blast Suppressor and Sixth Sense were actually perks that were switched around. They were flip-flopped in a sense, in which Blast Suppressor was actually a tier 1 perk, whereas it now is currently a tier 3 perk, and Sixth Sense was then a tier 3 perk, where it is now currently a tier 1 perk. That's an interesting change here that makes you think about the meta of the game, because tier 3 is a lot of different stealth perks, while tier 1 is all sorts of different ones. So I think that it's nice that this was changed around a little bit, and then we ended up getting Blast Suppressor as a tier 3 perk, and then Sixth Sense moved over into the first tier category. That's something that just seems like it fits a lot better. But let's move over into the second thing that you may not remember from Black Ops 3. That being the pre-game lobby specialist images. This was something that's in the beta, they were incredibly dumbed down. And now granted, this is something that of course makes sense because it's not the full build of the game. They're still working on the game itself, and a lot of the stuff maybe not isn't placeholders, but is still not the full imagery, simply because it's the beta. There's going to be changes anyway, so why throw the full thing in here per se, I guess. But at the same time, you could also question, if it's this close to the release, why aren't the full models being used in here? But they're a much more dumbed down version of the pre-game lobby and specialist icons that we saw and still see to this day in Black Ops 3, which I'm much happier with the current versions than that of what is in the beta. Now, moving over into the third thing you may not remember, deals with snipers. And this is something that everybody loves sniping, or at least there's a big subset of the community that does, and they're pretty much die-hard fans. So this was something that at the beta was completely different and changed how snipers and sniping worked in Black Ops 3 entirely. Back in the beta, there was 0 aim assist whatsoever. Now, a lot of people may say, you know what, there's not aim assist on snipers now, to which I'll say there's very little, which you're kind of close to being right, that there's not as much as there has been in previous games, but there is still a very little bit, and it really comes down to the base aim assist movement system, in which at its core, and I haven't tested this recently with snipers, but it's how it was for the longest time in Black Ops 3, where aim assist would be granted to players that are moving or are in the process of moving, whereas if you're standing still or sitting in a corner, you won't get any aim assist whatsoever when somebody rolls across your screen. So therefore, if you're one of those stay-at-home snipers, you might feel like you don't have all that much help with your aim, but if you're a quickscoper, sometimes it feels like you completely lock on. It kind of comes down to that whole movement system, because that's how it is with every weapon in Black Ops 3, and looking back on it, it's still drastically different than what it was in the beta. There was nothing, no matter the circumstances, in Black Ops 3's beta, which was again a huge change and a huge difference from what it is now. Now, number 4 actually deals a little bit with team icons being a little bit different. Now, whereas a lot of them are design-wise still relatively the same, a lot of them have been changed about in the texture of them, and the design final product is a little bit different as well, if that makes any sense here with it. But to describe it a little bit for you guys, it's almost as if the levels of the icon itself have been bumped way up so that it's way brighter, super sharp, and just overall doesn't look near as good, I don't think. So it's something that from the alpha footage, I'm glad that this was changed about. I'm glad that they added more color, more of a toned down curve level or exposure level to this icon itself. It just looks like it was standing right in front of a light bulb and was then put on top of your HUD as such. And so therefore, I'm happy this change was made, and it's one that you might not remember. Now, the fifth and final thing that we're going to talk about today as something that you may not remember from Black Ops 3 deals with objective modes only. And this is something that goes for domination, hardpoint, capture the flag, things like that. The objective was previously displayed as a three-dimensional cube icon. One place this shows up that the general public can pretty much go and take a look at for yourselves is also in the multiplayer reveal trailer for Black Ops 3, something that gave once again that early alpha gameplay or late alpha gameplay in which a lot of different changes have been spotted throughout the entirety of Black Ops 3. But one such thing once again is this icon for the objective, and it again is just simply a cube. As for the reasoning as to why this was like this, well, there's no real explanation ever offered up, but it is something that is a cool little change around for what we currently have, and it's something that I think is quite cool, but of course it doesn't necessarily change anything all that much. But that's gonna round out the fifth and final thing here for this episode of the 5 things you may not remember within Black Ops 3. Once again, let me know down in the comment section down below, how many did you get right? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? How many of them did you remember, if any at all? Feel free to drop that down there. And of course, which was your favorites of these that maybe you wished would have made it completely into the full game of Black Ops 3, or if you're glad they're not there now currently. Wherever it may be though, feel free to drop it down there in the comment section down below. But hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you guys are new to the channel as well, make sure you guys subscribe to stay up to date with everything we have here regarding Black Ops 3, both multiplayer and zombies with Zombies Chronicles, Modern Warfare Remastered, Call of Duty World War II, both multiplayer and zombies there as well, Infinite Warfare, all that good stuff, we got you covered here up on the channel. And finally, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that is the best place to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on Twitter, so if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. But all that said and out of the way, hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. Mine is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.